Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today is the first day of the Education USA LLM webinar series for 2021. The topic today is how to choose an LLM program. Thank you for joining us. I guess we're already a minute in, so I think I will pass the mic on to our presenters for the day.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you. My name's Elise Kramer. I'm the Executive Director of Graduate Programs at Penn Law. And we're just very glad to have you here. And we are going to discuss how to choose an LLM program, the requirements, and what to take into consideration. After we have an opportunity to speak about these topics, we encourage you to all visit us in our respective Zoom rooms. So, determining the best fit. It's really about figuring out the right program for you. So some of the things you're going to want to think about are what are the eligibility requirements for a given program and whether your credentials are a good match for that program. Another thing you want to consider is the location. Where do you want to do your LLM? Do you want to do a specialized program and focus on one area of law? Or are you interested in a more general program where you can take a variety? And what kind of faculty are there to support that type of program? You want to think about the size of the program and the types of courses that are offered. You also want to consider whether or not you want to take experiential programs, including clinical programs, and whether the school that you're considering offers those kinds of opportunities. An important part of your LLM is this, in addition to the academic curriculum, is the social and extracurricular opportunities. And you certainly want to consider what types of social and extracurricular opportunities a given program will provide. And last but not least, you're going to become part of an alumni network. That's a big part of the LLM experience, and you'll want to consider what kind of alumni network or what type of schools you want to think about as you're making your selection. So if you can move to the next slide. Again, my name's Elise. We can move on. I'm going to talk just for a few minutes about eligibility and credential fit. So each school is going to have a different set of eligibility criteria for admissions and for scholarships. So you want to investigate those requirements as you're considering where to apply. And a great resource for that, besides the individual websites of law schools, is of course LSAC, which is also a way you can apply to the programs. But most schools have a pretty robust profile on LSAC that also goes through their admissions requirements. You also want to think about how likely it is you would be admitted to a given program to ensure that in the process of applying that you're picking schools that are going to be interested in someone with your background and your credentials. So the things you want to consider in terms of eligibility are academics. What type of degree is required? Most schools are going to require that you have a first degree in law. Some schools are going to also require that you would be eligible or have sat for the bar in your home country. They may require that you be ranked at a certain level in your class or have a minimum GPA. Another thing schools are going to look at is language test requirements. Are they looking for a specific score on your TOEFL or IELTS? Is that, in addition, are they looking not only for a minimum score, but a breakdown of that score, how you did in the various sections? Maybe they evaluate your language skills by other means. Maybe they take the Duolingo test. Maybe they do phone interviews. Some schools are, or many schools are going to be open to you doing a test like a TOEFL or an IELTS at the at-home version because of what's going on with COVID, sorry. And sort of related to this, does the school offer conditional acceptance? Is it a school that where they're excited about you as a candidate, but they have some concerns about your language? Sometimes they'll say, okay, we're going to admit you, but conditioned upon you getting a certain score on a TOEFL or IELTS or completing some sort of language program. And finally, is work experience a requirement? Some schools require that you have worked before you apply for your LLM. Most schools are going to at least consider it in your eligibility, in your the strength of your application. So perhaps even if it isn't required, you may consider getting some more work experience to strengthen your application. So with that, I'm very excited to hand the virtual mic over to my colleague Cynthia at Vanderbilt. Take it away.
Thank you, Elise. I am Cynthia Coleman, and I'm Director of LL.M Admissions at Vanderbilt Law School, and we'll tell you more about our respective law schools a little later in the program. But next slide, please. I'm going to tell you a little bit about thinking about the location of the school you're considering. Location is a key factor to consider when choosing where to earn your LLM degree. And my advice is to choose a location somewhere where you'll have fun during your LLM year, as well as studying and working hard. So some location factors to consider are, do you thrive in the fast-paced environment of life in a large city? Or maybe you live in a large city now, and this might be your only chance to experience life in a smaller city with more open space. So that would be the first thing I would recommend you think about. Do you want to study in a beautiful, on a beautiful university campus? Some schools are located right in the middle of really exciting cities, but don't have much of a campus. So that's the second point to consider. You should also think about transportation, housing, and the cost of living in the location that you choose. What will your daily commute be like? Will you take public transportation, or will you need to have a car? Is there affordable housing within walking distance to the university if you don't plan to have a car and aren't sure about taking public transportation? And then if you're coming with your family, there are important family considerations and needs to keep in mind. Is childcare available at the law school that you're considering? And what's the quality of schools for your children in the community? Are there good public schools located near the law school? And is there on-campus housing for families, or is there affordable off-campus housing near the law school you're considering? So if you love the mountains or you love the beach and that's where you want to be, by all means, keep that in mind. However, there are many, many great cities in the US that aren't near the beach and they aren't near the mountains, but they have really easily accessible international airports that make travel to different cities in the US really easy during breaks or weekends. Large cities are usually global legal hubs with some of the world's largest legal markets, which may be attractive if you hope to remain in the US after the LLM year. However, there are many other desirable cities that aren't as well known internationally, which may offer some of the same opportunities as a big city. For example, many cities are state capitals, which mean that there are lots of legal opportunities there. And many cities are known for offering a great quality of life or low cost of living. And some cities in the US are known to be rapidly growing and also offer internship experiences in large legal markets. So my advice is don't be afraid to choose a law school in a setting that you think will make you happy. In the long run, the morale boost and your mental well-being will be worth it. Thanks. And on to the next, to Sarah.
Hi, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you tonight. I'm Sarah Dorner, and I am from the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law. So we're one of those schools that is in a state capital, actually. Right, and so I'm going to speak with you tonight about specialized versus generalized LLMs. So essentially, there's two broad types of LLMs: a general LLM, which will give you knowledge of the American legal system. It gives you a broad overview of the US legal system. And some flexibility for customization in your course selections. So because it's not specialized, you're able to kind of choose a little bit more which electives you want to take. Some of these programs also will allow you to choose a concentration so that you can get some degree of specialization in a specific field of the law. Many of these general LLM programs are even designed to help you prepare for a US bar exam. So if one of your goals is to sit for a US bar exam, then a generalized LLM might be the right fit for you. When it comes to specialized LLM, so these types of programs are going to give you specialty knowledge in a specific field of law. Some examples of specialized LLM programs are intellectual property, corporate law, gaming, maritime law, tax law. The list is fairly extensive. So there really is something out there for everyone, depending on your specific area of interest. These programs are likely to have more defined curriculum requirements. Like a general LLM, there's probably some level of general courses you'll take, but you'll also need to take a number of courses in that specific field of law. If you are interested in taking a bar exam, it might still be possible with a specialized LLM, but that's a question that you'll want to make sure you're asking the admissions team at the schools you're looking at. You'll want to make sure that there's enough flexibility within the curriculum so that you can take any courses required for bar eligibility. And I think, another piece of advice here would be to really look at the faculty who are teaching in these programs. Go to the school's website, look at the bios for the faculty, and see a little bit more about their research background, their areas of interest, to make sure they're aligned with your personal and professional goals. And ask the admissions team about how accessible the faculty are at the school. And ask too, I think I would just caution, if there's one faculty in particular that you're really excited about, don't make a decision based just on that. It could be that they're on sabbatical and they're maybe not teaching, one of the semesters you're there. So just ask those questions and look broadly at the list of faculty and not just, one specific faculty. And I wanted to share as well just some resources for researching different LLM programs to see what's out there. So I know we mentioned previously the Law School Admissions Council. This will have a directory of LLM programs, and it will also allow you to sign up for their free candidate referral service where schools can find you. I do caution that sometimes this can come with a number of emails from the different schools. So every school, of course, has opt-out options, but it's a great way for you to kind of indicate your areas of interest and for schools to reach out to you directly with more information about their programs. LLM Guide is also a great resource, and they also have a top 10 list for specialization. So if you're looking for a specialized LLM, be sure to check their specializations. You can also search by location as well. And then the American Bar Association also has a listings of specializations by school and by program category. The US News and World Report, so I think everyone's familiar with their rankings. I would caution, rankings are not everything. They are certainly, a factor to consider, but they're not everything. That said, if you are interested in a specialized LLM, it's probably worth looking at how that program is ranked. So look at those specialty rankings and see if they're a leader in the specific field of law that you're interested in. In addition to these resources, of course, you want to be looking at law school websites and reaching out to their team and asking for more information. As we all know, Education USA is a fabulous resource, so talk to the advisors in your area. And then one other tip would be to look on LinkedIn, look for the alumni from the school, check their profiles, and reach out to them for information as well, and just see what types of work they're doing and if this program could be a fit for you. And so with that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Karen from Georgetown.
Thanks, Sarah. Yep, I'm Karen Boland, and I'm the Assistant Dean of Graduate Admissions here at Georgetown Law in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about program size and types of courses that you might think about if you're looking at LLM programs. So LLM programs in the US vary greatly in terms of the size of the overall student body at the law school and the size of the LLM population within that law school. Some LLM programs have more than 300 LLM students. Others have fewer than 10 students. So these can suit you. Some may suit you better than others. If you're a person who really appreciates a small, intimate group that you're going to get to know extremely well, you may look at towards the smaller end of the program. Whereas if you are used to being part of a large group and that's something you like, and you like meeting lots of new people, you might consider a larger program. And I think the size of those programs can be relevant to you for a number of reasons. Lots of times students are interested in the faculty-student ratio. So how many professors are there compared to how many students there are? And this is sort of a useful metric, but it's not necessarily a good measure of how often you might be in a room with a small group of students and one professor, or in a room with a large group of students and one professor, because I will talk more about that in just a second. There also may be faculty who come to the law school from off-campus adjunct faculty members who are working full-time, but teaching in their area of expertise, which is something particularly useful to LLM students who are more on a professional level than people who are just studying their first degree in law. And so sometimes those adjuncts may not be factored into the official faculty-student ratio that you find on a law school's website. So just keep that in mind. You also might be interested in the ratio of Jd Llm students. And that may be something you're interested in, being really mixed in with JD students and kind of disappearing into the overall crowd of the law school, or you might be interested in getting to know JD students, but also getting to know LLM students. Again, the ratio may not make a difference because of the way the classes are organized at that particular school. So it's good to ask admissions folks, as well as any graduates of the program that you might know, what their experience was in terms of meeting JD students and being together with other LLM students. A size might be relevant as well, because a larger school may offer a lot of different kinds of classes. The total list of classes will tend to be longer if there are more students than if it's a smaller law school overall. And that may impact, the ability of classes for you to enroll in, the number of seats in those classes, and the availability of space in classes that are of interest to you. Hopefully, all of the school take into consideration the ability of students to be able to get into classes, whatever the size of their overall student body is. The size also can affect your networking opportunities during and after the LLM. So if you are in a smaller program, there may be fewer LLM students there, but opportunities still to network with alumni and professors, and they may get to know you really well if there's like only 20 LLM students on the campus, they may come to know that group pretty well. On the other hand, you'll have fewer of your own LLM classmates to interact with. Whereas in a larger program, you'll have more students representing more countries that you'll get to know all over the world. But maybe when you're in a networking event, you have to share the attention with a larger number of classmates. So there are trade-offs in both directions. Recognition by employers, I think some, and this also relates to what Sarah was talking about previously, specialized versus general LLMs. Sometimes a specialized LLM program may tend to be smaller, but people in that area of expertise will be familiar with that program and recognize that even though this program may have only 20 students in it, it's very well known for teaching this specialty area, and employers might reach out specifically to that program. Or if you're in a larger program that's well known by all different kinds of employers, you may have some confidence that they're coming to recruit there, knowing that whatever needs they need to fill, they'll probably be able to find it in a larger program. And just like with location and specialty type, your comfort level, your preferences of whether you want to be in a bigger program or a smaller program. So not all LLMs programs look the same, and within LLM programs, not all classes look the same. So you may be in an LLM program that has only 20 LLM students, and sometimes you may take a class with just those 20 students. Other times you might be in class that is including JDs and LLMs and has 100 or 150 students in it, depending on the type of classes. And generally, you've probably all heard about the Socratic method, the types of classes that you see in American movies about law school, with the professor standing in front of a large classroom and acting scary and asking questions. You may have some classes like that as part of your LLM program, and those are sort of classic American law experiences and classes. Seminar classes tend to be smaller, maybe centered around a more specialized topic and involve more discussion. And so those will have a smaller number of students in them. Experiential classes, which you'll hear about more later in this presentation, maybe clinics or practicum classes or externship opportunities, tend to be smaller, focused on a group of students working together with a professor to do something a little bit more practical. You might have classes that are only focused on international LLM students, others that combine JD and LLM students together, and people have their own preferences about how comfortable they feel in one setting or another. You also want to look at the types of evaluation methods for different classes. If you like writing and you want to take more classes where you'll be doing researching and producing papers, or classes that have just one exam at the end, you'll want to factor that in. And some classes that have other requirements, like maybe you're going to learn contract drafting, or you're going to put together a project with other classmates. And then finally, kind of related to the general versus specialized and what your goals are for the LLM, are you more interested in an introductory classes that give you a broad understanding of basic areas of law from the US perspective? Or have you been working for a while and you really want to specialize, take more advanced classes in a particular area? So take a look at all of these things as you're choosing an LLM program, and don't be afraid to move outside your comfort zone, because that's how you grow. That looks great on your resume when you try something different, you try a new place, a new setting, and a new type of experience. So I hope all of you will have that experience. I'll turn it over now to Mickey, who's going to talk about experiential and clinical programs.
It helps if I unmute myself. Hello, I'm Mickey Hampshire, Assistant Dean of Graduate Programs at Indiana University, Robert H. McKinney School of Law. I'm going to go into depth about the experiential and clinical program opportunities that you will see in an American law school. So US American legal education is quite different than what you might have experienced in your home country, because unlike the rest of the world, in the US, the study of law is a postgraduate program. So all the students who come to a law program have to already have an undergraduate degree. So for you, those of you who have your LLB or you have a license to practice law in your home country and you come here, you've already studied law. But for an American student, this might be the first time that they have studied law. Because of that, there is a big emphasis on the professionalization of the course. So in addition to getting the great theory that you're going to have in the classroom, there is a big emphasis on, are you practice ready? So the way that we do that in American legal education is through experiential learning, learning by doing. It's a signature component of legal education in the US. So what does that mean? What are the options for learning by doing, experiential learning? So you've heard a couple terms. I'm going to break it down. I have some fun photos here to try and give you a little picture of what those are. But a clinic is one opportunity. So in a clinic, that is where you have actual clients that you are serving under the supervision of an attorney who is licensed in the jurisdiction where you are. So for example, I'm in Indiana. So my students would be working with actual clients in the law firm that's located inside of our law building at IU. We have a little section of the law school that looks like a law office, so that the clients that come in have the feeling also that they are being serviced by very educated and capable students, even though they're being supervised by attorneys. So that can be really exciting if you want to just cut your teeth and get in straight with the American clients. A lot of my LLM students enjoy things like the immigration law clinic at IU McKinney. You may be coming with specialized language background that would help you in that kind of clinic. So again, just like Karen said, don't be shy. Feel free to expand, embrace these opportunities, even if you're a little nervous about working directly with clients. That can be a really great way to do it. Number two, externships. And I know you're probably already wondering, externship, internship, what's the difference? So an externship is similar to an internship, at least at my school, and at many schools, you'll find this pattern, except that when you do the externship, you actually get academic credit for it. So for example, an externship would be on-site practice at an agency in the city of Indianapolis, for example, or at a law firm or at a multicultural corporation. You might be doing corporate law, any of those types of opportunities where you're actually leaving the law school building for most part and doing legal practice on-site at a partner institution. So you get academic credit for it because while you're doing that very practical hands-on practice of law, you are also doing an academic component. Maybe you're writing a paper, maybe you're having reflections, maybe you're meeting with a faculty member regularly. So because of that dual work, you get academic credit toward that experience. An internship with an I at my university is different. You do not get credit for it, but you might get paid for it. Now, most of you will be coming to the US on an F1 visa, so there are working regulations on whether or not you can get paid and when you can get paid. And I'm just going to put a little plug in for a future Education USA seminar that will talk just about that. But in general, if you have work authorization to work off campus, you can accept payment for your services in an internship-like setting. So you may see this with JD students who do a clerkship, or they might do opportunities at law firms in between the different years that they're at the law school. I do have LLM students in my school that also do internships after they graduate, when they have the optional practical training or OPT opportunities to be able to work for pay off campus. Next is simulation courses. So this is a great opportunity if you're not quite sure about working with actual clients yet or partners in the community. A simulation course can be a fantastic way to get some practical opportunities. So what you do in this case is you have hypothetical situations. My school, for example, we have a 1-week mediation practice seminar. It's a full week intensive study. We usually do it right before the semester begins, either fall or the spring. And during the whole week, you are in a simulation. It's very active learning. You are pretending to do a mediation. And at the end of that series, you can actually get certified to be a mediator. So some of these simulation courses come with credentials that you can also get at the end. So even though you're not working with actual clients, they are really rich opportunities to get the feel for what it would be like to practice law in the US. Pro bono programs are also kind of a signature component of American legal education. In the US, we believe it's very important to have access to legal services. And we know that there are a lot of people in the United States that can't afford for those services. So what we have done, most US law schools have provided a pro bono opportunity. So this is an opportunity for law school students to engage with actual clients and actual agencies to support clientele who may not be able to pay for those services. So again, your language skills could come in handy in a lot of these agencies that are looking for people who can speak the language of the clients that they are serving, as well as have an understanding of what it means to be from another place and a heart to serve justice. So pro bono programs are an awesome opportunity to get a little bit of practice. Sometimes you can get credit for it, academic credit, or sometimes you do not get credit for it. And it can be very useful for those of you who are wanting to sit for a bar exam. For example, in order to practice law in the jurisdiction of New York, in addition to passing the bar exam, you do have to show 50 hours of pro bono service. Again, it's something that we value in American legal education and the career in general, that you would be willing to give of your time to people who may not be able to afford it. So that is a fantastic opportunity. I highly recommend that you get involved in pro bono programs wherever you end up. And then finally, a lot of schools may offer some kind of self-designed course or experience. So at my school, that's called an ACRE, Advanced Course Related Experience. This is an individualized course of study that has a practical component to it. So most schools are very interested in your interests. They want to tailor the legal education to what you want. So they may have these individualized options for you to choose from. So at my school, what this looks like is you would take a course with a professor first, maybe get a foundation in intellectual property law, for example. And then after that, you might design your own experiential learning. Maybe you want to design a manual for something for a client that you're working with back home, and you want to design something that's a little bit more specialized in IP as it relates to Brazil or Ecuador or Mexico, for example, or your particular industry of choice. So they partner you with an expert faculty member on campus that can take you to the next level. So it's similar to an externship, only it's designed by you. So some more niche kind of opportunities that you might want to be able to do. So as you can see, lots of rich opportunities in American legal education that is outside of the traditional law school classroom that's going to focus on a lot of theory. So highly recommend that wherever you end up, that you are brave, that you step up and that you choose at least one of these opportunities, because that will give you a real taste of what it's like to practice law in the US. With that, I am very happy to pass the torch over to Adriana.
Thank you, Mickey, and hello, my friends. My name is Adriana Guena. It is a pleasure to speak with you all, my friends from South America, my home country, Brazil, and from, people from all over the world, because I know you guys are going to be checking out the webinars that we have prepared for you all from all over the world. So I work for UC Davis School of Law, and it is a pleasure to talk to you today about the cultural experience, the cultural challenge, the cultural exchange of experience that you're going to have, not only by doing the LLM, but also, learning from each other. As you can see, we have students from all over the world that do come, legal professionals that come here to the United States to make a dream come true. I know it's a dream for everybody. It was a dream for me as well to come to America and not only learn more about the US legal judicial system, but also experience life in America. Next slide, please, Mickey. So my friends, in order to maximize your experience while you are here to study, while you're doing your LLM program, you're going to be very busy, but you want to make sure that you take advantage of the so many social opportunities and network. So for example, here, I'm just listing few of them. Law student organizations. You can be part of the law students organizations. There are so many opportunities in so many universities and law schools where you want to make sure that you take, that moment to make that connection connection to perhaps learn more about a specific area of law. There are so many law student associations that you can be part of, and you can contribute with the knowledge that you're bringing from Brazil and from other parts of the world. Also, there are some student-run journals that you can be part of. You can learn and teach and be integrated with the American law students, which is also an opportunity to learn. And don't forget field trips. Super fun, because not only you're going to be able to perhaps visit the courts and the state capital, depending on where you're going to be living, but there are so many touristic places that you want to learn. This is part of your cultural experience, right? That's when you're going to be able to, speak English all the time. Of course, you're here, you're going to come to the United States, you're going to be, speaking English, but also legal English. So it is super important to be able to get the opportunity to socialize, to network, and get to know wonderful places here in the United States. Next, please, Nikki. And then, of course, I love to talk to our students about opportunities that go beyond the classroom. Yes, you have heard from our wonderful friends here from all over the United States, from different universities, how much you're going to be able to learn in the classroom, right? That's your playground. But don't forget that outside, beyond the classroom, you're going to have the opportunity to expand, to maximize your experience by really interacting with the law students, and not only law students from the United States, right, but also from all over the world. Don't forget that you bring so much to the program. It's so enriching experience when you come from your country here to America to share your view, your perspective. So it is very diverse, people from all over the world that do come to contribute and make this LLM program a very unique opportunity for you. Next one, please, Nikki. And then, of course, you're going to be busy, you're going to be studying, you're going to be learning. There's so much to enjoy. And we want to invite you to enjoy your time during the program, because believe me, it goes by fast, because time flies by when you're having fun. You are challenging. I tell our students that it's a transformative experience, and it's true, because you are just becoming a better person, a better professional, just by the ability of the exposure, right? Another culture, different points of views and perspective. So make sure that while you are learning, expanding, socializing, networking with people that really become a big family, because you guys are studying together, you're learning, you're going through this process, which it can be challenging in the beginning, but guess what? It's doable, and it can be fun. With all the tips that we are all sharing with you, you can make a very informed and wise decision about your future. So of course, it's all about balance, right? You study hard, you also want to play hard, you want to enjoy every minute, because the United States is a wonderful country. It's so welcoming and diverse, and you want to feel safe wherever you go. So thank you for your time at this moment. And don't forget to always watch the webinars, always be in touch with EducationUSA, which is an amazing source. We are here to serve you, to give you the information that you need to make your dream to have an LLM from the United States of America, to make this dream come true. So thank you so much for your participation. And with that said, I'm going to pass along here to my friend Daniela Branco, who is from the University of Pennsylvania. He's going to share important information about the alumni network with you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniela Branco, and I'm Graduate Programs Specialist at Penn Carey Law. As Adriana, and I didn't know, Adriana, that you were from Brazil, so I'm also from Brazil, and I'm happy to share my experience with the LLM programs with you all. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the importance of the alumni network as a factor when you are choosing your school. So your LLM year is the start of a valuable experience, lifelong experience, personal and professional network. When you are admitted into an LLM program, you automatically become part of that LLM group. So it's an elite group of individuals that either shared or are sharing that experience with you. You have the opportunity to actually make very rich and engage in rich relationships with these individuals. Some of these individuals from this alumni group actually might be the most important people in your career. So when you are selecting a school, it's really important that you consider its alumni community. So some of the things to consider are the law school and the university alumni community separate? So what does that mean? Are you only able to engage with the alumni group from the law school, or are you also able to engage with the broader alumni group from the university? Do you need the structure of formal clubs and events for networking, or are you comfortable with informal networks? Another factor to consider is what is the reach and reputation of the school in the country or in the region where you plan to practice in? Is the school well known in that country, in that region? Do they have a large alumni network in that region? Or is it a smaller network, but it's a close-knit group of alumni? Also, during your year, it's really important that you take advantage of all the opportunities that you have inside the classroom, as Adriana pointed out, outside of the classroom, to engage with your fellow students, your fellow Jd Llm students, the Jd students, and faculty. That's when you're going to start to build up your network. And always remember that an alumni network is only as good as you make it. So you need to be proactive, be active, and engaged in your alumni network. Now we're going to have the opportunity to learn a little bit more of each of the universities that are part of this panel.
Yes, friends, hello again. So I work for UC Davis School of Law. We are located in Northern California. If you haven't been to California, this is an invitation to come and see this beautiful state. Now, we are really close to San Francisco, and we are located close to Sacramento, which is the capital of California. We have options to offer you if you'd like to do 1 or 2 year LLM program. We can customize, design an LLM that will meet your professional goals. So it's all about what you want, what your goals are, so that way we can meet them. So that way you're going to be meeting with our associate dean who will design, will tailor a specific program for an LLM program that will meet our goals. Now, of course, that there are other classes. We can talk about more specifically other options that we offer, but we do have some specific areas of law that are very popular. For example, human rights and social justice law, international law. And there's so many options that, again, it's all about what you want for your future. And of course, it's all about customization of your program. Now, I love sharing with the students that you're going to be taking class with JD, the law, American law students, which is an amazing opportunity to learn, to also share the information that you bring, and also do the networking, do the socialization with those wonderful students. So with that said, my friends, I want to make sure that you know that you can get more information. We are happy to do a one-on-one follow-up meeting with you via WhatsApp or Zoom. That way we can answer a specific question. So thank you so much for your participation.
Hey everyone, so I'm going to just give you a few quick points about Georgetown Law. Of course, please visit our website to learn more and check out our calendar of info sessions if you want to join us again online for more in-depth presentation, but we're located in Washington, D.C., just a few blocks away from the Capitol building. We're one of the largest and oldest LLM programs in the United States, and we offer both general flexible degree programs as well as a number of specialized programs, including tax law, environmental and energy law, global health law, national security, technology law and policy. And in either the flexible or general programs, you can choose from a large variety of classes, depending if you want to go broadly or deeply into your study of law or both. We have externship opportunities during the second semester of our LLM that people take advantage of here in the DC area, as well as a great team of career and professional development counselors who can help you figure out how to take your LLM and use it to go to the next level in your career, and a really amazing alumni network of over 40,000 alumni around the world, and a few hundred alumni from your own class year that you will really rely on as a personal and professional network, as you've already heard today, throughout your career. So we hope you'll think about Georgetown if you're planning to do an LLM, and thanks for listening to us this evening.
I am Mickey Hamstra, back from Indiana University, Robert H. McKinney School of Law. We are located in Indianapolis, Indiana. And one thing that's unique about us is we are the only law school located in that capital city, and we are the largest law school located in the state. So what's great about that is you have access to externships all over the city, all over the state, because we have a large alumni network as well. We are an integrated program. So that means you are together with the JD students, the American Law School students, as you are at UC Davis. But you do have some limited LLM only classes also, if that's your preference. We have 4 programs, Jd Llm, MJ, and SJD programs at my school. We also have an accelerated 2-year JD program. So you can transfer credit from your LLM program into the JD program if you'd like to sit up for a bar exam in any US state. That is an option. Sometimes LLM students get to the US and then they decide they want to go the full distance. So a lot of schools will offer that kind of thing. We do have a start in the fall or the spring, so August or January. Very generous need and merit-based scholarships. So that is part of our application. You don't have to apply separately for that. You get your admission and your scholarship determination at the same time. We have flexible offerings, day, night, summer, short course, and online. We have classes taught by experts, which is also a benefit from being in the capital city. So we have an Indiana Supreme Court justices that teach in our program every semester. They choose the LLM students, and those students often do externships in their quarters there at their court. We have judges of the Court of Appeals, the Attorney General, and 7 different specialties, including our newest, which is a World Trade Law specialty that does have a mandatory externship at the World Trade Center. So that's really interesting. I invite you to come to my Zoom room afterward if you'd like to know more about the externships that I talked about earlier or anything about my school. Thank you.
Hi, so Sarah Dorner from the University of New Hampshire, Franklin Pierce School of Law. New Hampshire is about 1 hour north of Boston, so in New England and the Northeast. We are the only law school in the state of New Hampshire, actually. We offer 3 specialized LLM programs. Our primary LLM is an intellectual property. This program can be completed fully on campus or fully online. I did see a question in the chat about online LLM. So there are some online options out there. We also offer an international criminal law and justice LLM, which is also fully online, and then a commerce and technology LLM, which is fully residential. So the intellectual property and commerce and technology programs are on campus. And we do offer the #4 intellectual property law program in the US. We have a global alumni network with alumni really spanning the globe and really making themselves accessible to our current students. Students in our program do have an opportunity to participate in clinics, particularly our intellectual property and transaction clinic, as well as immersive courses. So this January, a group of LLM students will be traveling to Silicon Valley to take classes with folks from Google, Apple, Microsoft, Samsung. It's a really fantastic opportunity. Our academic success program offers support on kind of just how to be successful in the US legal classroom, as well as for bar exam preparation. So even though we are a specialized LLM, there is still enough flexibility for students to be able to prepare for a bar exam. In addition, our career services office is fabulous, and they will work with you on your resume, your cover letter, connecting you with alumni, as well as for students who are looking to stay in the US after the program for OPT, optional practical training. They'll support you through that process as well. And we do offer a number of substantial partial tuition scholarships based on both merit and need. And similar to other folks, that is part of the application process. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks. This is Elise. I'm back to talk about our LLM programs. We offer one LLM. It's a general LLM, but it's very customizable. We're a I think a relatively small program, but maybe mid-size in the scheme of things. We typically have about 115 students per class. We're located in the beautiful city of Philadelphia on the University of Pennsylvania and Ivy League Schools campus. It's one of the oldest universities in the country, and our LLM program's over 100 years old. Philadelphia is a major, I think the 6th largest city in the US right now. It's one of the more affordable large cities. The law school and university are right next to the downtown. Many of our students, we have dorms available on campus, but many of our students choose to live in Center City or other neighborhoods just because there's a lot of kind of safe, affordable, easy to get to, charming places. Philadelphia is about halfway between New York and DC. A little closer to New York, so you're talking for either location somewhere between 1 to 3 hour bus, train rides, give or take depending on traffic. And I think the two things that make us particularly unique are our 5-week, 5-credit pre-term program. All LLMs must do this. It's the only time that you have required classes. After that, you pick from about 90 classes per semester are offered that you take alongside the JDs. During this program, you take foundations in US law, US legal research and writing, and it really gets you up to speed. It's also very helpful if you're taking the New York bar because those classes apply directly to some of the requirements. It's also just an incredibly fun experience. There's a lot of social and cultural and co-curricular opportunities. And it's a time that our LLM students really bond with one another before they become fully integrated with the JD population. We also provide all of our LLMs the opportunity to earn a joint business and law certificate at Wharton, the business school. We're all on the same campus, so you just walk over a couple evenings a week for your classes at Wharton. Our scholarship is also something that you apply just through our application. It's a pretty simple process. And I really encourage you to come talk to me and Daniela and our alumni in our Zoom room to learn more. And wishing you all well. Moving on to the next school. You're muted, Cynthia.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Cynthia Coleman with Vanderbilt Law School, which is located on the beautiful campus of Vanderbilt University, which you can see here, located in Nashville, Tennessee, which is the state capital of Tennessee and a really great city. And it's in the southeastern part of the United States. Next slide, please, Mickey. Vanderbilt offers, like many of the schools here, a general LLM, which allows you to take courses in many different areas of the law, or you can specialize in corporate law, law and business, and you will earn a certificate in law and business in addition to your LLM degree. We also have generous scholarships available based on merit. There's no separate application required. All admitted candidates are considered for scholarships. We have a small LLM program with typically around 60 LLM students per year. We're known for our faculty of leading scholars in every area of the law, whether you're interested in intellectual property or energy and environmental law. You'll find great faculty in almost every area of law. We also offer the courses you'll need to qualify for the New York bar exam. Vanderbilt Law School is known for its sense of community. It's a close-knit student body, and lots of student organizations to become involved with. It's just a great place to live and study. And Nashville is known as Music City, USA, because of the wide range of musical venues in Nashville. So I would love to talk to you later in my Zoom room. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for your presentation, everyone. That was lovely, very informative. I want to thank all of our students for being here at the Western Hemisphere Education USA LLM webinar series. It is a pleasure to have you all here. We are a little short on time, so we can do 2 questions, and then I will give you the links to the Zoom rooms, and so you can continue the conversations and ask more questions more directly, okay? So one of the questions that I found here in the chat that other people talked about was from Bruno. Good evening. If I'm interested in pursuing a JSD, aiming for an academic career after the LLM, what should I consider in the choice of an LLM? I think that was a really good question from Bruno. So if any of you want to take that one, feel free.
I'm happy to give a first response. I think that totally depends on the program that you're in. So at IU McKinney, we do require our SJD students to be our LLM students first. And that's so that they can do a thesis with a faculty advisor so that they can then expand that in the dissertation at the SJD phase. But not every school requires that. But obviously that'd be an important thing to know before you plan your LLM trajectory.
I'd also say that even if it's not a requirement, it's a really good idea to do that. You're going to be even if a school does accept outside applications, you're going to be at an advantage if you've earned your LLM degree at that school, because you've built relationships with faculty who are likely to, advocate on your behalf. SJD programs tend to be very competitive, and it's helpful if you have faculty who are on your side as you move forward into the degree.
Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Elise. And another question that we got that I think can also be very common to a lot of law students, especially here in South America. A lot of law students, they have full-time internships while they are in college. And so one of the questions that we got was from Louisa saying, good evening, everyone. How likely are schools to accept students who are still in the process of obtaining a degree in law, considering they have at least full-time internship experience?
Can try to answer that. I think the question is whether people would come to the LLM before they have finished their first degree in law.
I think the question is if they are finishing their law school and applying for an LLM last year.
Okay.
I think the question is right after law school, would they be accepted, the likelihood of that happening?
Yes. So yes, because I think all of the schools will require that you have completed your first degree in law before you can start the LLM program. But many schools will accept applications from students who are still in their last year of the law program at the time that they apply. And so I think, some schools may have a requirement that you have post-law degree work experience, but I think the majority of schools will take into consideration both your law degree grades as well as an understanding that many students, especially from South America, will have full-time work experience during their law degrees and consider that to be a positive factor in the application as well.
I just would like to add, my friends, remember that we are thinking in the future, right? We are thinking about what we're going to do next year. So don't wait for the last minute. Even if you are going to be graduating soon, you can start applying and for some schools, they do accept unofficial transcripts, meaning by the time you graduate that you have your official transcripts, then you can submit them. But meanwhile, in order even to participate in some scholarship opportunities, depending on the school, I would recommend that the sooner the better. There are documents that you can already start putting together, for example, your personal statements, your resume, the letters of recommendation. So start sooner rather than later. This is all about the future. We're thinking ahead of time. So don't wait for the last minute. There are so many other steps that you're going to be needing to address. For example, your visa, right? There are so many other things that you're going to be thinking about, that the sooner you start, putting together all those documents, the better. Remember, a lot of schools, like UC Davis School of Law, we do offer a series of webinars helping you how to write your personal statement, how to apply, and all wonderful tips that will help you to get you going. So don't forget to be mindful of the time. Timing is everything. So the sooner, the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. Speaking of time, we are just about on hours. And so I want to thank everyone once again for being here. To all our presenters, thank you so much. That was really great. To all of the students, the prospective students who are watching, thank you for being here. This is the webinar series was organized by Education USA in the Western Hemisphere. Make sure to look for the Education USA Center, whichever country you're in, to help you with your application process. And I will now put the links here in the chat to the Zoom rooms and also put them on the screen, okay? So if you could just give me 1 second for the screen sharing. There we go. And I'm going to now add all of the links to the chat. And I just want to thank you all for being here once again.
Thank you, Education USA. Always our pleasure to participate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll
everyone.
hop off so
My
we can open our
pleasure.
rooms up.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Miki. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This session has been recorded and it will be available in the Education USA YouTube soon. So if you didn't get a chance to watch everything, don't worry. And along this week, we have more sessions.
Hey, perfect. Thank you, Joanna, for the information.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, make sure to copy the information from the chat so you can go back. Thank you so much for being here.